So hello Teaquilters, today is Saturday, April 19th, 2025. It is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're here for live 2-hour sew and chat. And today I am going to be, I decided last Saturday I finished off 30 African shuffle blocks, and I've decided that I do want to go ahead and make 6 more blocks. So I just took my scraps, like when I say scraps, I'm meaning that like when I cut fabric, I tend to get like 1 fat quarter for myself, and then I work on projects with those African prints. So these are scraps from working on previous projects, and I have decided to just randomly cut the sizes that I need instead of me wasting another kit that I could sell. So I decided to just randomly cut because I only need it for 6 blocks. I just randomly cut, and then I don't know what fabrics I've already used in the previous 30 blocks that I have. So I just used more than 6 fabrics too, just in case I had some duplicates. So I ended up adding more fabric pieces in as far as selection of fabrics, when normally all I would have used was 6 additional fabrics. So let's see. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, please hit the thumbs up button for me. I would really appreciate that. As well as we have a Facebook group that's Teaquilts LLC. If you go over there to join, make sure that you answer the 4 questions. Otherwise, you will not be admitted into the group. So let's see who's in the chat. I came in early just so that people could get notifications and come on into the chat as well. So let me first of all go here and tell it I want to see all messages. And we're going to go up to the top. So we've got Sue GSD saying we have 67 days until Retreat 2025, Teaquilters. Please don't forget to use T's AccuQuilt link. I just received the new 16-inch cube. Use the link. Support this channel. I love big blocks, and I cannot lie. So, yeah, if you are purchasing anything from AccuQuilt, whenever you do that, always come over to YouTube and just pull up any Teaquilts video within the past since COVID. So within 2021, let's just say. And always in the description box is a link that will take you to AccuQuilt's site. That's all you have to do. They'll know that I sent you over there. You can still use all of your discounts. Any special codes that they have, you can still use that. You don't have to use your code because you're using my link. So you still get all of your stuff. And then I just get a small kickback from AccuQuilt for referring you over, and it just helps especially when I have a library of AccuQuilt die cutting videos. So it just helps support some of the dies that I've had to purchase in the past or that I will purchase in the future. So thank you, Sue, for that. Francis Jackson is here. Darcy is also here. She's my thumbs up moderator, and she's also telling you all about ringing the bell and thumbing up this video. So if you haven't, while I'm going through here doing shout outs, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button while you're waiting. Deborah Quilts is here, Vivian Calvey, Brenda Foley, Melissa LePage. Melissa LePage, I hope you're listening. You ordered the same pattern twice. You ordered twirling strings by itself, and then you ordered twirling strings with the Villa Rosa pattern. So I got you down for 2 patterns, and then I also need a mailing address on where to mail your stuff, because I saw a post in Teaquilts saying you weren't on that particular street. I deleted that message because I didn't want people to have that. And so you need to give me a mailing address on where to mail your stuff to. And then she also won the strings and crumbs that I sold on Wednesday. So I need to mail that. So I got a large bag of strings. It's about 3 pounds of strings, girl. Shelly Souls is here. Welcome to the chat. Carissa Reninger, Minnie Dula. I think I said Vivian Calvey. If I haven't, I've said it now. Minnie Dula, it seems like you were confused on Zoom information. Zoom information, the link is always in the Facebook group. The link that I emailed you in the beginning of the year in January and February, it's the same link that you will use for Zoom, Teaquilt Scrap Quilting Club the entire year. So just search for Teaquilts News, because that's where I sent it from. And then you just click on the link and it'll take you in. When it's like 30 minutes or 10 minutes before I'm about to go live, I'm mostly getting myself ready like the 2 hours before I go live. So I'm not always watching social media, and I'm not always having my phone on me. I'm actually one of those people that I'm in my house. I don't really walk around with my phone unless I'm actively using it. When Sprinter is here, welcome back. Haven't seen that name in a while. And Clovis Gardner, welcome back. Shelly says those fabrics are beautiful. Why, thank you. I cut 3 of the African Shuffle kits. Somebody ordered one, so I cut 3 extra ones. Well, 2 extras, so that if somebody else wanted one, currently is 2 in stock right now. Jean Sutter is here saying hi to everyone. Dee Branson saying her rent is paid. If you're new here, the rent is paid, meaning that she's hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't, go ahead and pay your rent as well. Dolores Phelps is here. Irish Cell Lady says she's hoping everyone is having a great weekend. Shelly S5 is here. Your package got mailed yesterday, so that's awesome. You should be getting it early, hopefully early next week. We'll see. When they tell me 2 days or 3 days or whatever, I'm not sure if they're counting Saturday as a day since they're open on Saturdays, but you never know. I don't count it. I just say, okay. And then if it comes early, I'm surprised. Teresa Forster's here. So she's going to have her Easter dinner, so she will catch up later. Have fun and happy Easter. Same to you. Have fun. Betsy Layton is here. Happy rainy Saturday to all Teaquilters, of course, Miss T. I was supposed to go drop off the Teajuana machine today. I couldn't even sleep because it rained hard all night, and all I could hear was rain. And then I was not going out in the rain, especially with a sewing machine. I was just like, you know what, that's not going to happen. But we've had rain off and on. They had forecasted for every hour it had a certain percentage. Now, we didn't have rain all the time, but I couldn't predict when would be a good time to go. So I just decided I wasn't going to go at all. So that's for another day. Melissa saying she messaged me on the Facebook group. Vivian is also reminding you guys to hit the thumbs up button. So thank you, Miss Vivian. C-Rax is here. Welcome back. Haven't seen you in a minute. All right, I think. I could be dreaming. Michelle the Quilter. Shelly Soul says, Miss T not talking tonight. That is too funny. I came in like over 5 minutes early because I been coming in like right on the minute or 1 minute before the minute. So I think in the future I'm gonna try. Don't know if it's gonna work. We're gonna try. Especially on Saturdays, to try to come in 5 minutes early, and then I'm just going to do whatever I'm working on until it's time for me to start. That way, the notifications will go out, and then people, as they're getting their notifications, then they won't miss me when I actually start the live. So I think that's something to aspire for. We shall see. And Francis said the same thing. That is too funny. I just thought I'd try something different. Hi, T9U Roberts. Patricia Priest is here. Suzette Peter Denton is here. Sheila Willis. Sharon Lewis. Quilt Gal's here. Let's see. Jacqueline Mason. Happy Resurrection Eve, she says. Sue was saying it was quick and easy and free. She's talking about the AccuQuilt link, just so people don't get it mixed up. Okay. To Melissa LePage. Claudette Hall is here. Maddie Barnum. And Deborah Sims Brown. Betty Ward. Good evening. Got my book last week. Awesome. I hope you all are reading it. Sometimes I buy books and I don't like take them to my project. I just kind of sit down and read the book. Even though it's a sewing book, I sit down and read it. I'm not reading like on a normal book. Like, I'm not reading the actual cut project or cut instructions. But if it's something that I feel like I might really want to do, then I might read those cut instructions just so I can have a idea in my head of how much fabric I might need to do that. But I do read or look at how they're putting stuff together, so I'll know ahead of time if I'm going to make my half square triangles or my flying geese the way that they want me to make them. It lets me know in my head what size they might be in the finish when they tell you what the finished size of a unit is. So I do read them, but I think on this border book is one of the ones that you might want to read the details on, because it kind of help you to figure out how to add that to your particular quilt top. So it's the Ultimate Finishing Guide, backing, binding, and 100 quilt borders. And I actually gave one away as a door prize when I went to the Quilt Guild this past week. So, yeah. I think it's got a lot of information on the finishing of quilts all in one book. Not that it has it all. It does not have it all, but it has the majority of it. Holly Duvall is here. Hi, Holly. Welcome. She said she tried to correct the address in PayPal and it wouldn't let me. Marge Abel is here. The African Shuffle Quilt. Where can I buy the pattern? The pattern is on my website, www.teaquilts.com. And then you go to products. And then on the products page, it has it split up by fabric, patterns, notions, etc. You go to patterns and it's on the pattern page if you just want the pattern. If you want the kit, then go to the fabrics page if you want a kit. Let's see. I guess I'm not getting all the notices because, oh, okay. My brother is in here and saying hi to everybody. Because it didn't show up at first. It's showing up now. Janet McCarroll's here. Janice Miller just checking in. Received my shirt. She said hello to everyone. Okay, so Melissa says yes, the second order was in error. So that's why I was asking, so I can refund that, because I didn't know if you were buying it for somebody else. So next time I go into PayPal, I will do that. Anita Scott is here. Tracy Middlebrook is here. Shelly S5 says she's happy about getting her kit. She was telling me, that I didn't have to rush the cut. But, I knew that I had a program, and so I knew I wasn't going to be able to cut it until, because I was all out of kits. But I never close it out, because then it makes me go cut. I always try to cut a minimum of 3 kits whenever I cut. Sometimes I'll cut more. But, so she made me go cut a kit. And that's good, because I should have it in stock anyway. Joyce Sterling is here. Benita Nance. Phyllis G, Zandra Odom, Diamond in the Rough. She said, hello, tea sippers. As long as I could hear the sewing machine, I could see it was time. Clovis Gardner say, what is the African shuffle block? Is there a pattern? There is a pattern. I'm actually currently putting it together. I don't want to mess with the package because I got my other 30 blocks in there. So I'll be showing you as I'm working on these. I try to do like up to 8:20 and then go back to sewing. That's why I came in early so I can start sewing. Remo JS is here. I try to give the shout outs because this is a sewing chat night for sure. Jason Lewis is here. And Sue is giving you my website address. Thank you, Sue. And Clovis says, thanks for the pattern info. You're so welcome. And she's saying that to Sue. Leah O'Brien is here as well. So I am currently working on 6 additional blocks. My kit has 30 blocks, but I decided I wanted to add 6 more blocks. So I just cut from my scraps pieces for 6 more blocks. And so that's what I'm currently sewing because I've already sewed the other 30. And I was this week going to go lay them out and put them together, but then I decided I do want to add 6 more blocks. So that's currently what I'm doing. So I get these done, then I can figure out placement of the blocks at that point. And again, I do need to make this quilt top again so that I can do it with the sashing in here as well, because I have not done that part. I want to do it with the sashing as well. Let's see. So I just wanted to get these out the way. It won't take me long to sew these. And I actually got down to the bottom of the chat, so that's pretty cool. And I did, like, when I cut these, since I might have some duplicates, I did, like, make 2 or 3 of these. I used 2 maybe. I cut 2 8-inch squares. Well, they're not 8-inch squares. I don't know. I cut these larger ones. They're 8-inch finished. And I duplicated it just in case I have another duplicate that I got in here by accident. So, because I didn't check the fabrics. But I used way more than 6 fabrics for these 6 blocks, because I just wanted to make sure I had a bigger variety. Just long as none of the fabrics are in the same block, I'm okay. Because then I'm going to mix all of these up with the other 30. Alright, so I can leave that there. And then sew these 2 together. Thank you, Maddie, saying that the material is pretty. Thank you. I don't know. Did I not, like, cut a... There it is. I'm like, did I not cut a square? It was just clinging to the underside. All right, so let's take this off now that I got one of those on here. And press. All right, so we'll continue to sew these until I get these put together. Let's see. Leetta up here talking to Jason. Jason probably typing. He don't even know. I'll help you out. I'm just glad well, I'm not glad that I'm making more blocks, but I'm like, I wanted 36 blocks anyway, so I know I thought I was going to do the 30, but I ended up adding 6 more. Let's see. What did I do this week? Basically did orders on Thursday. Oh, I was cutting for the kits. That's what took, because I cut all day on Thursday, because I had to get out 30 different fabrics so that I could cut the 30 blocks, because they're from 30 different African prints. And then Friday, I had to mail some stuff, and I had some orders from the Guild when I was there for some stuff that I didn't bring. So I had pulled all of that stuff, and I'm waiting for that lady to give me an address as well. I came in late. Can you say what you're working on? I like the fabrics. These are African Shuffle is what this is. And the fabrics are from my website. You can buy an African Shuffle kit. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's $100. It includes the pattern if you want just the pattern. I can't remember what the pattern cost is, maybe $14, $15. Because most times I'm selling a kit, so I don't know what the pattern costs. But it's somewhere in that neighborhood. So, uh-oh. My iron cut off. I was gone too long. It's not hot. Hi, Yolanda Riza. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up button. And Erlene Butler, welcome. So, I am just piecing 6 additional blocks that I need to go with the 30 that I already have. And then I'm ready to piece it into a quilt top. So that's what I'm currently working on. Zandra. Still flashing. It seemed like it was something else that I was doing, but I can't remember right now. It'd be so much going on in a day, I can't remember everything. But I do know I spent most of my time getting the kits ready. I don't know why I turned that one upside down, but I did. I'm trying not to press the tape. I got a little masking tape telling me what number the blocks are. I got to press those up there too. These need to be pressed. Then the instructions on the pattern will tell you how to put sashing in between it if you want. This one, I had my quilt made, and I used it to make my pattern, so I didn't put sashing in between it. Somebody inquired about buying my quilt top, and I thought I was going to sell it originally, but then I did not want to because I'm like, it goes with my pattern. I can't sell it right now. And it is one of the newer things since 2000 that I've made, so I didn't want to sell it. So I'm actually making another quilt. So that's why I'm making this one exactly. It's not exactly the same because it's different fabrics, but almost the same. It's like I can't sell my quilt. All right, so now I'm going to put these two halves together. And I got to press the one that's on there. So real simple. A lot of people buy the kit because it's already pre-cut for you. It's not that it's complicated. It's just that it's pre-cut for you. And you get 30 different fabrics. I don't want to press any tape. Make sure I press in the right spot. All right, let's see who else has come in. Darcy says, I was making my sister quilt and I was using the Jagged X pattern. I didn't get all the small pieces together. When I finished the next day, I sold 30 of them sideways. Very frustrating. Yeah, Seam Ripper becomes your friend. And Earlene says she made this quilt before. Yes. And basically, it's just letting the fabrics speak for the quilt. And I even used a couple of people's quilts. I can't remember who. A couple of people's quilts made it into the pattern when I updated it. Because I did it as a sew along as well. It's amazing. I do videos and then people still want me to go make a pattern too. So, you know, it's a lot of videos. It's about a 7-part video series, but it's very thorough. Each step has its own video. Hey, Dorothy Battle. It's almost time for our family reunion, girl. So Darcy's gonna change the patterns. Melissa says, did you seam rip all of that? Marge says, the site does not say how big the quilt will be. I don't have it here. It's written on the pattern. It's like without any borders, it's like 60, I guess by 72. But with the stuff that I did in mine, it ended up, I think my quilt was 96 square inches. So it would probably be 96 minus 12. 84 by 96 with 30 blocks. Good night, Sue. Hi, Ken's Wall of Crafting. Welcome back. Oh my goodness. So sorry to hear that. Praying you're feeling much, much better now. I hate to hear that. All right, so I've got these little blocks sewed. I can take my tape off and do a final press, and then I'll just show you. This is only 6 blocks. This is not representative of 30 different fabrics. So this is because I cut 6 extra blocks from my scraps just to have 6 extra blocks to put into my quilt top. So I can take all these numbers off because they don't matter. They're not important for layout until I get them in their right positions. So I'll just press them first and then I'll show you. Okay, don't have a lot of space. We'll put them over there. Just so you can see some of the African prints. And none of these are in the, I don't know if any of these are in the 30 block kits that I just cut. I don't know, because I wasn't paying that type of attention because they weren't going together. But I know in the kits that I just cut that they're 30 different fabrics. That I do know. I don't know if these are in there. I forgot to empty my trash can because I had started working on the next project a little bit so that I wouldn't, because I need 3 of them. And so I had started working on them. And I didn't empty my trash can. Let's see if I can get one more press with this iron, because I won't need it for a while after this. So very simple blocks. It's the fabric that's doing the talking. All right, so here's one block just showing you some of the fabrics that I used. 1, 2. Okay, I don't know which way this seam is supposed to go. Guess my little iron was not hot after all. All right, we can't have that here. So long as I have 5 different fabrics, then I'm okay. And I don't even know how many fabrics I pulled. I just pulled the largest pieces, cut what I could, and then worked my way down by size. And the last one right here. And now I have 36 blocks instead of 30. So I can make it a little bigger. And then I've got all of my other blocks in here already pressed. So I didn't want to go in there messing with this. See, I know I cut some squares out of this piece, or at least one square. So here's a piece. So that's why I duplicated some on my own, so that if I saw a duplicate, it wouldn't stand out like a sore thumb. But I just didn't want to pull out the whole stack to see what fabrics I had used, because these fabrics, my kits are kind of like leftover pieces, rejects, not necessarily rejects, Like somebody say that they missing a piece, and so then I don't have all 5 pieces in that fabric anymore. So then I would use that in my, and I even got this fabric right there. I would use that piece and just, I had this package here set aside for me to use because I may not have necessarily had all 5 pieces when I put this together. So I didn't want to sell it like that. I think the way I cut, it's impossible for me not to send you all the pieces for you to be short a piece because I cut in a stack. So if you've got one stack of all 30 pieces, you should have all stacks of all 30 pieces because I cut in sets of 10. I don't cut one by one. So I think what happened is because I starch before I cut, that they were stuck together and maybe sewed 2 pieces together by mistake. But I don't ever get into that. I just send them the piece that they say they're missing. I just put it in a business envelope and just send it to them. Because I've never seen like a stray block sitting anywhere. So. A lot of people are saying hello to Ken. And he says he is doing much better, so that's good. Yeah, and that gives you at least photos of the actual quilt, how it looked. And I kind of wait until I get my blocks together and decide like what color would enhance the blocks. But on this one, I think the lady liked my quilt because I think purple is her favorite color. So I'm just going to put the same border on the quilt regardless of whether it's the best one for it or not. It does have some purple in it. But my blocks, the fabrics that I had at that time, because I think that was like 2021 or 22 when I bought those fabrics. And they had a lot more purple in them. So then I used purple for my border. Yes, Shelly says the fabric does our talking. And again, you could put sashing in between if you like as well. I just haven't done that yet because I'm duplicating a quilt. If that I had said the next time I work on this that I was going to put sashing on it. But when somebody wanted to buy my quilt, I'm like, you can't buy my quilt. I have to make you a quilt. And Darcy's also saying the African fabric is so beautiful and bright. Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful blocks. Love them. Beautiful blocks from Clovis as well. Hey, Sean of Go Savvy Design saying good evening to everybody. So, yeah. So, that is that part. Next thing that I'm working on, got my little board I had my pieces on. I don't know where to put it. We'll just sit it right here behind my to-do projects book. So I got a hoop here. So let's just go ahead and run this hoop. I just got a piece of tearaway hoop. You know, I have these little brother. I need some oil, and I don't know if I have any silicone here. Hold on. Yeah, I do. Uh-oh, losing my zipper. Please. I need to oil this hoop frame. First things first. I wasn't sure I had some clear synthetic grease. Ugh. Because it like rubs up on here. These are not baby lock frames. These are brother frames, which you can get cheaper. So they don't exactly fit exactly, but they will work. But to me, they're a little tight. Now, if I go by, I have my hoop for my Elissimo. I'm wiping the rest of this oil on my pants. I have my hoop. What I'm missing, see how much easier that slid in there? Ridiculous. I have my hoop. What I don't have is the hardware. The hardware fell out. And I don't know where it is. And you go to the store, you can't buy the hardware. But they can sell you a whole new hoop, though, for $175 or something crazy. And I go, I'm not doing that. So I went and spent $30, and now I got double hoops because I've got all the sizes, okay, for $30 or so. But they're brothers. But they will work with the baby locks. Yeah. They used to sell hardware, but they want you now to buy a whole new hoop. Oh, okay, that's what fell behind is my zipper. And I even had a pin in it, and it still fell. So it just basically stitched an outline for me to put this zipper on here. That's what it did. And I'm going to need some tape, so I may as well get that out too. So, like I said, I needed 3 of these made for somebody. And so, when I'm doing stuff in bulk, I do all of this is a 2 hooping process. So, it takes 2 hoopings to finish this wallet. I'll show you the wallet in a minute. I'm just trying to get started over here. And so I do all of step 1 first and then do all of step 2. Now, I do have multiple embroidery machines, and sometimes I'll do part 1 over here and then I'll do part 2 over here, but I'm not doing that tonight. I'm not in a hurry and a rush. Yes, would like to have it done, but it's not that big of a deal. If I was doing, say, maybe 30 of them or something from scratch, then yeah, I would set part 1 up over here, and I'll set part 2 up over here, and I can be running both machines at the same time. So it just depends on what I'm doing. And if it's got quilting in it. This pattern doesn't have quilting in it, so it actually goes pretty fast. And Darcy saying $30 is a lot better if it will work. Right. I'm like, for some hardware, that baby lock is trying to rip me off, and right now I'm not letting them do it. They might end up getting me because their hoops are better, and I like that their screw thing lifts up at an angle for you to twist. It's not just straight hanging on the side of the frame. So I do love baby lock hoops. But I'm like, can't you just sell me some hardware? It's like I got my hoop parts. Ingrid sews it all is here. Hi, Ingrid. Welcome to the chat. Dorothy's reminding people to hit the thumbs up button when you get in or before you go. Crafting on a Dime with Shay Shay is also here. So welcome, welcome. All right, so let me show you. Just tape this down. And it has sewn, you see where the stitching is on the tape? It has sewed all the way across the zipper. And I put the tape on there so when it jumps from the top to the bottom, it's not going to catch the zipper, catch on top of the zipper teeth and pull it out of place. So that's why you want tape on it. And I don't know where my other tape is because this is annoying right now. I'm putting it on my masking tape. I don't normally put masking tape on top of the zipper because sometimes it's been getting stuck in the zipper teeth. But I had some other tape and I hid it. Oh, it's right here in the back. Look at that. Well, look at God. Oh my goodness. I want to put that tape down. It sticks, but it's a lot easier to come up. So I'm going to use that. And I've only got to make, this is the last front I got to make. Well, this is the last of part 1 that I got to make. There is a part 2. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that tape, but it's right there. All right. So we're making a Mickey Mouse, a little Mickey Mouse one, using this fabric. So I'm going to tape this down. This is going to be the zipper pocket with the Mickey part. And then the black part is the other side that gets the regular credit card pockets. And I'm going to show it to you. I'm putting this down here in the hoop, and then I'm going to tape it so when it jumps over from one side to the other that it doesn't move my product. And I try to put it, since I'm using this is made for a 5x7 hoop, so I'm trying to put it close to the edge where I know it's going to drop off, go over to jump over, because I don't want this to move. And then another thing I'll do, sometimes I'll put a pin, but in a 5x7 hoop, I'm not going to do that. You don't have a whole lot of room. I normally make this in an 8x10 hoop or 8x8 hoop. 8x12 hoop, not an 8x10. I do either an 8x8 or 8x12 because it gives me a little bit more room. When I'm doing 5x7 project in a 5x7 hoop, it is right on the edge of the hoop, and I don't like it. So let me show you before I start stitching, because I got to pay attention to that. And I just put clips on here because I'm folding it down so it can be flat when I get ready to put my snaps on here. So I don't have the snaps on here. So some of this fabric up here, I told you all, I just be string piecing, crumb piecing, because I can use those pieces into the projects that I'm making. So this is the front of the wallet. And then you open it up and you have the zipper up here because it's a zipper and it's closed. And so nothing's going to fall out. And then down here, you have 2 credit card pockets that you can put a stack of things in. You can see all of my fingers are going in here. So you've got quite a bit of room to get. I have so many things in here, I have to go in here and clean it out. And I also, like, say if I'm going to the store or going somewhere like the Dollar Tree and I'm only going to spend like $3 and I don't want to use my card, I'll put a small amount of money here, and then I'll put the rest of my bills and change in here. So when I go in the store and open my wallet, you don't see all my money. So I put my main credit card, driver's license, Sam's card, the stuff I use on a regular basis. I put that stuff in this front pocket. In the back pocket, I have like my medical information, medical cards, store cards, or things or gift cards I'll put in the front as well. So it just depends on what I have as to what goes in here. And the least important stuff is in the back that I don't use on a daily basis. But then I put my money up in here, coins and bills. I put the bills in the back, and then the coins just sit on top. And it's been working well. And the thing me and my family like about this is that it can go in your front pocket. It can go in your back pocket. You don't have to have another purse. You got your necessities here. So I'll just put this in my pocket when I'm going shopping. I don't have a purse. And I put my keys in my front pocket, put this in my back pocket or something like that. And that's why I like them. But once I get them done, I like to clip them just so that I can get them flat. So when I get ready to put the snaps on here, they're ready. So that's what I'm making. This design is an in the hoop design by Sweet Pea Designs called Striped Wallet. But I have modified this pattern to, they have it in stripes you do one at a time and you got like 3 steps for each piece of fabric stripe. I just make my own crazy quilt cover and I ignore all of their stuff. I've even modified the file, and I even modified the file so that it will sew my label on, because I used to have to sew that over here. I still do some sewing over here that's not part of the pattern. I'm not going to get into that. Yeah. I might have a video on YouTube showing me sewing that. I'm not sure. I think I do though. And I give you all the stuff that I do. So now we're just sewing the fabric on top of the zipper. And I'm just holding it so this fabric don't move, because all I got on here is 2 pieces of tape. And I just got the tape so when it goes from one side to the next, it doesn't pull up the other side and jam my machine. You don't want jams. So that's the first stitching that it's going to do across the zipper. And now it's making sure that everything is okay. And now it's going to triple stitch it down for security purposes. So this is not coming apart. Diane McCoy came in. Welcome to the chat. Claudette Bettis as well. Welcome. And Claudette Hall saying, what a great idea. Willa May is here saying beautiful fabrics. Maddie says, I like the wallet. Nice wallet. And Melissa says, how come when I go to the Dollar Tree 3 things, it costs me $36? Because you adding into that cart, girl. Like I said, this wallet, I feel, started from Atkinson Designs. If you all know, they have a wallet pattern. I used to make those for my family, and I made modifications to that over the years. And then when I saw that Sweet Pea had something very similar in the hoop, I then switched over to this design. I could make them probably quicker, but you know, they sewing in perfect zippers and all of that stuff. It's not that I can't sew in a perfect zipper. It's that if something can do it faster and better than I can, why am I going to fight with that? And I don't feel like the price was very expensive. It just takes time, and it takes a lot of prep. You're going to use more fabric because you have to trim everything up afterwards. So whereas when I'm doing them on my sewing machine, I can cut things to the exact size. So now I need to open up this zipper, okay? Because if I don't, then I'm not going to be able to get into the zipper pocket. And all it did, I've already taken one side off, but you can kind of see on the black maybe, or the blue, it stitched the fabric to the zipper right here. Those same lines that I showed you at first. So I just opened this zipper up, and then I'm going to put this tape back on here, because now it's going to stitch all the way around and attach this fabric to the stabilizer. And again, we don't want to have it jump and pull that zipper tab up or anything like that. So I just opened up my zipper and put the tape back on there. But I've done a lot of things different on this pattern because I like finishing details of things. Uh-oh. Is my little oil gone already? Okay, it was just crooked. It's getting ready to say. That was quick. All right, let me make sure I've got enough thread. So I just want to make sure everything stays as taut and smooth as it can. I just give it a little pressure so that it smooths it out, stretches it just a little bit so that it won't pucker or be bubbly. You know how something be bubbly but it's not a pucker? Trying to keep it nice and flat. All right. I'm going to turn this to the back now, and we're going to put on the lining pocket. Can't remember, do you go right sides up or wrong sides up or what? I may have to look. It's been a minute. I can't remember. I don't want to make it up. It's wrong side up. Wrong side up. All right, all right. And I want it about an inch above the lines that just stitched out. And we're going to tape that down. I can use the masking tape on the back here because it's not going to get stitched on where I'm putting it. Put a pin on this one on the bottom because the fabric is bigger than the frame. And it's hard to get the pin close to the edge because this design is about the same size as the frame. All right, now it's going to stitch. I put this piece of fabric on the back and it's going to now stitch that down all the way around the rectangle. And I left all that tape on the front because it's going to be stitching over that same area. So let's see, who else is in here? It sounded like it had, the thread came out, but it did not. Kevin the quilter is here. Hey, Kevin. Would you with your mom today? Okay, so it stitched a rectangle all the way around. I'll show you that. Now it's going to give me a placement line for the credit card pockets. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that, and then we'll talk about that when I get this out of the hoop. What size hoop do you need? The pattern is written for a 5x7. That's what you need. I feel like if you work it on an 8x8, you get a lot more room on the sides to work in the frame. It's not so tight as when you're trying to pin and tape things down. However, you're going to use more stabilizer. So I, being cheap today, decided to use my 5x7 hoop. Even though in the pattern I made a note that I like running this in an 8x8 hoop, I still put it in the 5x7. So yeah, but you need a 5x7. T, what app or software do you use to modify the pattern? I don't think they sell it anymore. I use Designer Gallery's Custom Works is what I edit in. When I got this machine, when this machine came out, it's a very old machine. It's over 20 years old. But you can check it out. It's baby lock software called Designer's Gallery. I don't know if they still got it, if they've updated, if it's something that's online. I don't know, because once I have something, I don't buy nothing until it don't work anymore. So long as it's still working, I'm okay. So it was like you could buy different modules. So I bought all the separate modules I have. But I mostly use Custom Works out of it. I'm going to just cut this one thread off here, because it's going to stitch right over that spot. I don't want it underneath. All right. So it stitched the back. It stitched that red down all the way around here. It told me to put this up under here is a line. It told me to put this 1 inch above the line. And then it has gone and stitched this around my piece wasn't big enough, so I pieced it together because it's inside of a pocket. So I'm utilizing what I got. And then it just now stitched this placement line right here. It's not showing. Right there, it's a little blue placement line. I thought the blue would show up. You see that? There it goes. That's where I'm going to put the top of my pocket. And then they tell you to place your pocket, put the back pocket down, which is your largest pocket. And then they tell you to bring the other one down a 1/2 inch and put it on top. So what I do, I do a lot of prep work. I will tell you this step. I do a lot of prep work on this machine. And what I do is I top stitch my top pockets. I've also done some other stuff that I ain't gonna talk about. And then I also went and stitched along the edges where I know it's not gonna be inside the design. So I'm only dealing with one pocket instead of dealing with 2 separate pockets. So that's what I like about this. And then I'm just gonna center this up here, put my fabric right up to the top of the line like they told me to. Use some tape on both sides to hold this down. So I'm just putting tape on it. And these are the credit card pockets. And then I do press the tape so when the hoop is coming over it that it doesn't get stuck underneath. So I do try to press it down. And so now I've got my 2 pieces taped for the bottom, and it's just going to go down here and stitch a U. It's going to stitch a U this time because you don't want to stitch across the top because then you close your pocket. So we're just going to stitch a U right here. That's what it's going to do. Oops, gotta turn it around. I got that silicone grease all on my hands from touching this hoop. And it's like it's just so tight. All right, we're just stitching the U. Is this stitching? Yep. So I'm looking at threads. It's the black. All right. So now this part 1 is finished. Part 1 is now finished. It just went and stitched. The bottom part is stitched those pockets down, and you can see the stitches right there. It just stitched that bottom U that you can see on the stabilizer right there. So again, when I'm doing mass production, again, I would do all of this part first. Even if I'm using just one machine, I would do all of this part first. Then I would come back and stitch all of my second hoopings. There are some things that you can make and you can make it be all in one hoop. And then other projects, you might need 2 or 3 hoopings to finish it. This is one of those that take 2 hoopings. And that's because of the pockets. If it didn't have all the pockets and then all the extra stitching that they tell you to do on the front piece, then you could technically do this in 1 hooping. I may need to try that. See if I can do this in 1 hooping since I've modified it. The other thing too is that it gets batting, but it doesn't get quilted. I'll think about that one. But right now it's 2 hoopings. All right, and then we can unhoop this. Well, we got more tape on the back. These 2 I put on the back. And we're ready to hoop our stabilizer for part 2. Look like we're gonna get our stuff done today. I haven't read chats, y'all. I'm working on her cotton cuts. That's Remo. Minnie says she's been wondering where Kevin is. Kevin was working on Wednesday. He was working. And he treat me so nice when he at work. I do pull off, this is tearaway stabilizer. So I do go around here and peel all of the tearaway stabilizer off that I can see. Because there is a piece that's going to be inside the pocket. I'll get that once I flip it out. You can't get that while it's in the hoop. But I do take off all the other pieces of tearaway so that it's not stuck in my wallet. You could leave it in if you want, but it's paper, crunchy, stiff. So I don't leave it in mine, but you could if you wanted to. And then if it gets wet, it's going to turn into crumbly paper. So that doesn't sound appealing either. So I tear it out. All right. Did we get the bottom and the sides, both sides? And then you're going to just cut a 1/2 inch all the way around this. I haven't done it yet, but we'll go ahead and start hooping the second one because I'm going to need to do that. But we need a piece of stabilizer. See, I was being cheap on the stabilizer, even though I bought some cheap stabilizer, so I wouldn't be cheap on the stabilizer. But the next time I make this, I am going to go back to my 8-inch hoop just so that I have more room. Just give myself more room. So I did not untighten my screw when I took my stabilizer out. It was the only thing that I hooped with stabilizer, so I don't have to muck with the screw. I can just go ahead and start sewing. And we can pull up our next part 2. That's why I do all my part 1s at one time, because otherwise I'm pulling up part 1, pulling up part 2, pulling up part 1, pulling up part 2. If I need 5 of part 1, I can do all the 5 part 1s at one time. And not pulling up this file 10 times. Come on. Okay, and then this is the pattern that I modified to get rid of all the, them telling me to place a stripe fabric, piece of, it's like making a string block in a hoop. It's like, no, I can do that much faster. It was like 18 steps to do that. I'm like, no, I can do that faster on this sewing machine. So I just do crumb strings, whatever I want, and then I come over here and put one piece of fabric down. Batting. We're gonna need batting. They do put a piece of batting. I use my leftover batting for this since it doesn't need to be very big. It's got all kinds of, this was like long arm quilted and all the stuff is here, okay? Because batting catches everything, but I just lay it in the hoop. It's not even gonna be seen. And so then I go ahead and stitch that down. Gotta set it into sewing. All right, so now we're gonna stitch the batting to the stabilizer. And that's also gonna tell me where to put my fabric. Especially if you got something that you need to center. On this one, I don't have anything that needs to be centered. But if you had a piece of fabric that needed to be centered, like I'm going to be using this Mickey print, I would fold it in half and press with a heated iron both ways so that I had those markings. So let's just say I needed to know where this was going in the hoop. I fold it both ways so that I can use those fold marks to line it up on my hoop. Your hoop has markings where the center is on left and right and top and bottom. So then you can line that up with your hoop markings. I'm going to trim out this batting. They don't tell you to do so, but I do it because I don't need it. It's already enough bulky stuff here without me having batting in the seam allowances. So I take out as much as I can now instead of dealing with it later when it's only a 1/2 inch. And so I went from 21 steps to 6, and that's including adding my label. It really went to 4 if you don't have a label to put on. I keep saying I'm going to update some software because my stuff is so old, but it's like it works for what I do, so I haven't done anything with it. So I just trimmed all of the extra stuff up, and I will take off this string and this starting tail. Take that one too. And then I'm going to just center my fabric over the top. Right here, I got the markings. I'm going to use the markings since they're here. Marking right there, the sides, top, and the bottom. And then I pin it. I use flathead pins. On this one, I'm not going to do anything on the sides because I'm right on the edge of the frame. So I just put a flathead pin at the top up here and the bottom. Put that back in. It's going to stitch a rectangle around it. I hate this hoop in this thing. Thank you. It's like it's just not right, just a little. And it lets you know about it. I mostly use my 6x6 hoop or my 8x8 for the most part. I use my 6x6 hoop when I'm making quilt labels. The next part I'm doing is the optional part. It's giving me a placement line. I'll show you both of these for me to put my label on. So I'm just gonna put my presser foot down and tell it to stitch. So I take a little bit of basting tape that you can sew through and just put a couple pieces of tape on the back so I can, this is a faux leather. This one is cork. This one's cork. And you don't want to put any extra holes like pinning this down. You don't want to tape on it because as soon as you pull the tape off the front, it's going to pull the color off. So I don't want that. So I'm just going to use a couple pieces of tape and tape my label into that spot that I'm going to show you in just a minute. Just get my stuff on here first. Put it out the way. Put this back up. Y'all like my bag? See, I'm using it. I made this bag because I like it because it opens wide. And then I got all of my bag making supplies in here so I don't have to be bouncing up and down because I need a white marking pen with other stuff. I bought my own supplies for the bag making so I don't have to be jumping up and down for supplies. All right, so let me pull off my string here and take off my pins because I don't need them anymore. Okay, I'm going to just show you the back of the hoop because it'll show you what the last 2 stitches were. It's stitched around the outside edge again, right here to attach this background fabric. Now it's stuck to the frame, to the stabilizer and the batting. And then it also gave me this placement line for me to put my label. So I'm going to put my label right on top of that. And you probably can see it from the front. Yeah, you can see it from the front. So that's where the label is going. And then when I put this back in here, these are the 2 steps that I added. A placement line for my label, and then just making sure it's centered. A placement line for my label, and then a stitch down line for my label. And I don't put anything on it because where the hoop is sitting at right now, it's already on top, right on the edge, like 1/8 of an inch away for it to stitch it down. So I don't even need anything on top to prevent it because it doesn't jump anywhere else. It's already sitting right there on top. I'm just going to try to pull this thread so it's a little bit longer and don't come out. And now I'm just stitching that down. And if I was on my sewing machine, I'd be turning corners and all of that. And this just stitches it right down. I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I do this like years ago? Years ago. I'll just show it to you stitched in there now. Nice. All right. Now I need to square these up 1/2 inch away. I haven't done that, so let's do that. I'm going to start on the short ends because it's it'll make it so I don't have to use so much long. If I trim the long ends first, I'm just extra, you know, I got more stuff on the board. I'm trying to get it as small as I can because I don't have a lot of room right here. So I'm just trimming a 1/2 inch down. I'm actually going to go back and cut this down to a 1/2 inch. I mean a 1/4 inch once it stitches out, but the 1/2 inch gives me a place to hold on to. I'm going to move this zipper just so I can trim. And then I'm going to open it back. If you close your zipper, remember to open it back. My board turned. All right. I don't normally cut here. I cut on my long arm. But there are a few times I'm going to have to cut here for stuff like this. So I try to move the zipper to the other side. And then I'm going to move it back into like 3/4 open. Right there. All right, open that zipper back up 3/4 of the way. Because the machine stops in the center. And then I've got another one in here. I may as well trim it while I got the stuff up here. Oops, see I still got tape on here. I don't want that one right there. So we may as well trim them both. I'm actually done, so I could have unscrewed it, but I didn't. But we got to do the second part of that one too, so we may as well go ahead and hoop it while we've got it here. While it's in my hands. Hold on, I gotta pull it down. I want this piece, I want the left side to be the stabilizer to be as short as possible, but enough for it to stay in there. So that's what I'm struggling with on top of this rotating mat. And that's because it's so close over here on the side. I don't want it to be bumping up into the stabilizer will hit the foot mechanism. So this will be my second hooping for this one here that I have. So again, I'm going to move the zipper over so I can trim up and square up and it won't be in the way when I get to that part. Just got to remember to open it back up 3/4 of the way. One. Turn around to the other short side. Move this zipper pull. And I don't really have that much waste. I have made modifications to what the pattern tells me to cut too, because I'm cheap. So I don't have that much waste when I'm trimming because I've made modifications. The first one I made, I was like, we're not throwing all of that away. Pull this one back. And one more trim. So I don't have much waste. I have more waste in zipper than I do anything else, but I buy bulk zippers or zipper by the yards. This one actually likes the number 3 zipper. The number 5 zipper, I felt like it was getting caught on it, so I didn't use that anymore. You can move this temporarily. This one can just go on the board. Okay, so on the back here, you can see where it has stitched like around here, and it has done that on both sides, although it's not as obvious, but you can see the outline stitching. I use pins and I put these together with pins. So I take a pin, put it into the corner on the piece, because they don't give you these tips in the pattern. So I put it in the corners and then I put it into the corner of my piece here. Poke that through, poke the other side through, and then once I have both of those pins laid in, then I can go ahead and put some other pins in here to hold it while it's stitched. Now you could also use sew tights, some of your flat sew tights. I'm just so used to using pins that that's just what I use. And I need some flower heads because I want them flat, to be flat. So flower head right there. Go over here, pull this pin back, make sure it's in position. And then I'm going to put a flower head over here. All right, so I'm going to take these 2 pins out, and I've got the bottom corners pinned in. So then I'm going to go, and you, like I said, you could just use your sew tights under this too. They do work. I have used them. I don't know if I've used them on this one, but I have used them on other bag projects. So I know it does work. I'm just a pin girl. Been pinning for years. So I got the 2 pins in where I want them to go. And then I'm just going to go inside and put some pins in to hold it so that it doesn't move. And then turn it around and do the other side. So now this is exactly where I want it. And now I can go stitch it out. So I now have my 4 pins in here. 2 down here and 2 up there. And I don't know what's going on in the chat. I've gotten behind. Oh, I want to put some tape on here. See this right? This one won't be a problem. This one is going to be a problem. So I want to put tape on that. I threw it away. Threw all that tape away. Okay. I don't need a lot. Just want to make sure that when it goes across that side, it's going to stitch, start right here, go up and around and come around this way, and then it's going to stop about right here. It's not coming all the way back up here. So I don't need a piece of tape right here, but I need the tape over here. So and it's going to do that twice. It's going to do it one time and stop so I can make sure it's what I want, and then it's going to do it in a triple stitch. It is very thick over here, guys. And it's also now rounding the corners, so they're no longer square anymore. I go ahead and take my pins out just to get them out of the hoop, you know, since they shouldn't be in there in the first place. Figure now's a good time to get them out. And then I just hit start again, and it's now going to do that triple stitch to really secure it into place. All right, let's read. My older sister's visiting, and she wanted to see what T is doing. Making wallets. That's Willa Mae. Making wallets. I got some clips on them to hold it flat right now. Oh, Kevin says he is with his mom, so yes. It's called Striped Wallet. Marge is the name of the sweet pea pattern. Hi, Delia Castro Short, welcome. Kim says, oh, we having barbecue for Easter. I don't know. I guess I'm going to be up making a cake or something. I haven't even eaten today. I got a bag of pretzels I came in here with. I don't know what my sister's having it at her house, but we're supposed to either bring something or give money. I'm thinking give money sounds really good right about now. So my needle up. Okay. As it gets stuck around this last little stitch thing here. It's like it goes into the center. And they have a thing for it not to do that, but I keep forgetting to put it back into the design. You know, let me pull my needle up manually because it's not doing it. As soon as I pull it up manually, it comes right on up out of here. Yeah, but I like this tape. It peels off a lot better than masking tape when it's being sewed over. I can't even see it to get it. All right. So, on the back, it's sewed and left an opening. So, let me just take this out. I could technically, let me go ahead and run the other one first so we can get both of them done. So, now that I'm done, I have to tighten this up so I don't lose the inner hoop. All right. Put that one back there. And I've got the other one here hooped because we're going to do the exact same thing. We want to lay our batting in first. They have you cut your batting basically the size of the hoop, so you don't have to worry about centering. Just put it in there. Go ahead and get both of these done, and then we can just trim them up. Because that's ready to go. Squared it up last time. I wanted to make sure we got stuff done today, y'all. I did my prep work today. So instead of me stitching 2 of those, I went ahead and stitched 1. So I'd have that first part done. And then I utilized my time very well today. I had time to plan it out. So that's what I've been doing today, is planning what I was going to sew today. I normally don't give myself the whole day, but this time I did. It worked out. All right. This right here goes in. I forgot to cut the iron on. Just sit it right there for a minute, because I do want to see where center is so I can see which side I like the best. Let's see. It's got this little piece on the bottom that's purple that's probably not going to show. So I think I'm going to use this side just because it's got more added stuff here. Make it look like it's more complicated in the piecing, and it isn't. So I think I'm going to use this as my side that I'm going to put my label on. This is going to be the part where Teaquilts go on. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some marks in here so I can center it in my frame, so I'll know exactly where it's going. I'll know exactly what my center looks like. But if you don't care, one piece of fabric, you could just put it in here. You don't have to do any lining up. Just make sure it covers your batting and you have a 1/2 inch around. 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch, because I'm gonna trim mine to a 1/4 inch. They don't tell you that, but I do it anyway. Okay, so we're gonna use pin at the top and bottom. Just to give it a little bit, and then we'll hold it on the sides. So now it's going to stitch that piece of fabric down. I'm going to just pull my fabric taut a little bit just so that it's not floating on top of the batting, because like I said, this particular design does not have quilting. You could add quilting to it if you wanted to. I just don't. It's already enough that I'm doing that if I was selling these, I'm not going to get paid for it anyway. It just covered like 1/8 inch of that purple, so I'm really glad that I decided to put it on the back side of my wallet and not the front. I'll show it to you just so you can see what I'm talking about. It's just very little. I don't know if you can see that purple coming right around here. It's just barely any of that purple, so I'm glad I wasn't trying to use it for a design feature. But now it's gonna tell me where I can put my label. So I got my placement line for that. My label is right here. It's actually gonna go on some of that light blue, which I like. And I gotta go back because I didn't put tape on the back of this one. Gotta go back and get some tape. Couple pieces here. I just put a couple pieces diagonally through, but not up to the edge, because I'm assuming you can stitch through this tape, but if I don't need to worry about it, I don't worry about it, because mostly I'm just using it to put my labels on. All right, finally. One more piece of tape for the other diagonal. All right, got the tape. I always take it out so that I'm right over it, so I can try to get this as accurate as I can. I don't even think I digitized it accurately, but it works for what I'm doing, so I'm just going to keep going with it. Press down. This one's a faux leather one. The other one was cork. Come on. I'm trying to make my thread longer because the tail is right at the needle end. I don't want it to come out. All right, let's go. Get busy. It's almost time for this. I forgot to pull out my stabilizer tearaway on this one. So let's get that out of here. It's a lot harder to pull out when all I got is a 1/2 inch seam allowance left. I forgot that step. It's a lot easier to pull out when you've got the whole piece. Completely forgot this part. Has a little stitch that's covering the zipper. You have to sometimes cut out. You don't want to pull it. You might tear some stitching. So I just cut it out. And we want to open up this zipper 3/4 of the way. All right, all right. Yay. Now it's ready to, so it's stitched. Uh-oh. I put this label in a bad spot. I'm going to have to do one line of stitching. When can I do that? Let me see. I can't do that. It's like over a little bit. It's stitched though. It's not perfect. I didn't put this label in the right spot. I think what I'm going to do is go back into my software because I feel like I need to make it just a little bit smaller. It's like some of these labels, I got more room than others. And this one didn't stitch right. I think it might be a little bit shorter than the other labels. I think they're manually cut instead of machine cut. So I'm going to go in my labels in the software and I'm going to reduce the label because I put it in the exact same spot, I thought. But we're moving forward. Pockets to the top. Get off a little bit of that. All right, and we need my pins to go into these corners. Poke that through. Poke this one through. And then through the corners on here. Pop that one in so it holds. Pop this one in. All right. I guess I put them up. Okay. I normally keep them out until I'm all done. I put them all the way up. Okay. Just make sure you're in the right spot. This is a whole lot of layers because you got to think of the pockets folded twice. 2 of them. And then all the different layers for the zipper pocket underneath. The batting. It's a lot of layers. I haven't figured out how on my, or if my Elissimo, because it's an older model, if it would allow me to raise the hopper foot. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't see it in the embroidery software anywhere. Maybe it's on the sewing machine side somewhere. I don't know. Just gonna pin this one down. And go back over here and pin this one down. And I'm actually pinning inside because I don't have enough room in this hoop to put them on the outside. But at least they're on here. All right, got my pins in. Now we're going to stitch it twice. I think my thread came undone. Okay. Start with stitch number 1 and then we'll take out the pins. Oops, I forgot to put tape on there. I caught it just in time. Put the tape on here. It don't need it on the way back, but I'm gonna make sure. It's like, girl, no tape. That's from the talking and the chatting and the reading. I haven't read comments in a while now. So this is my last stitch out, so I was trying to just get it done because we got like 15 more minutes and I might be successful. I can get rid of all of this stuff because I'm just gonna flip out. I'm just gonna trim them, flip them out, and then we're gonna be kind of done. Because I have to hand sew that opening closed. That's why I had one almost done for you. I've already hand sewed this one. I just need to put a snap on here to close it. It'll be a little cam snap in here. And I'll show you up close on this one too. And we're all done. All right. We're finished. We're gonna go to home. Because I moved the needle a little bit, it's being persnickety, so I can get my hoop out. Go to embroidery edit. I just want to park my embroidery machine so I can use it for storage now that I'm done. And I can cut that off. All right. Pull off this one piece of tape I added. This needs to go in this bag, not back there. So we'll know where it's at next time. All right, so now I can just go ahead and pop this out. And we've got two things now that needs trimming. And pull the tearaway stabilizer off. But wanted to back there. It's all done. All right, tearaway stabilizer can come off. My trash can's full because I'll get all this tearaway, 6 hoopings of tearaway. All right, we got to trim before we flip that. On the side that's open, I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch. The rest of it, I'm going to be trimming to a 1/4 inch now. So remember the front part that has the label hasn't been trimmed at all because it was the last thing that we just sewed. So the only part that's been trimmed is the inside. Oops. Now I got to get the stabilizer out of the square too. Forgot that part behind the name label. Okay, so let's get the cutting stuff back up. We got 10 minutes. So I'm going to turn it to the right side. And I'm going to do a 1/2 inch on this side where it's open. Do that first, and then I can trim up a 1/4 inch on the other sides. And then I will scissor trim the part that's, trim the corners, because they're now rounded corners instead of square. That last stitching that it did, it made everything round. My zipper is right there on my cutting surface, the zipper pull. Trying not to press too hard on my ruler because I don't want it to get warped. And I also don't want to cut myself. We'll use some scissors. My zipper pull is sitting right there. so it doesn't want to lay flat. Okay, now we'll go across the top piece here, and we'll turn this one out. I'll come back and trim the other one so we can see the Mickey one. See if it's pretty. Okay, close that, and then I'm going to use my scissors to make a notch where just up of just a tad, so that I can go around this corner and make it skinnier up to the point where it's open. And then the same thing on the bottom. Cut a little notch, and then go around these corners, go around the corner, and go around the corner, so we don't have all of that in the corner. All right, so this is what we have. I've left a 1/2 inch seam allowance where it's open. So I'm going to go through here and turn the corners, turn it inside out. And I still got a piece of tearaway inside the pocket that I got to get out. That's underneath the zipper. So when I open up the zipper, I can get that out. And then I'll just tell you how I finish the other one off. Okay. And then go in here and kind of push the corners out. I'm using, like, they used to use these with envelopes to, when you're folding envelopes. They used to call them boners. But it's a creaser. But I use that to get into my corners. And I like that they're rounded instead of pointed. So works a lot better. They rounded the corners. All right. I'm going to go inside. Inside here, you've got that last piece of tearaway stabilizer that was in the hoop that we couldn't get out because we put the fabric on the back. So now we can take that out. Tear that out. And I'm just trying to make sure it's not stuck in the seam where I need to cut it. But it looked like it's doing okay so far. Just going to be up at the top of the zipper where that would happen. Right here. And then the other side. And it came out. So the inside lining of my pocket is red on one side with the Mickey fabric being folded in half. And then I make sure I get those corners back out again because the stabilizer makes a difference too. Go ahead and get those corners out. All right. So this is where you would then press this really good. Press this in, and then once I press these in, I use my clips and let it cool off. You want to fold, they got like stitching lines here from when it's stitched around the outside. I make sure I fold those stitching lines in. I press. Sometimes I'll use, and I have been using stitch witchery to close it. So I'll stick this in here once I press it the first time. I'll do this the second time. And then I use my clips. I use the smaller ones. And I might put like 6 clips in here so that it can cool in this spot and know the memory of where I want it to stay. And then I just let it sit like that for a minute. So I haven't pressed it yet, so we're not at that step, but I just wanted to show you how it finishes. And then you've got your zipper pocket up here, and then my snaps are also up there. Then once I'm ready, I'll put all my snaps on. But that's what it's gonna look like, folded up. I just got that one clip holding it. And then when it opens up, you've got the Mickey on. I put the Mickey, you can put your fabrics wherever you want. I just put the Mickey on the outer edges so that it goes on the pockets on the outsides so that it goes with the outside here. So let's cut this one up. Let me go down to the bottom. I can't. Willa Mae sent me $1.99. Thank you, ma'am. She says, thank you for Project Demo Tea. I keep the unused wooden chopsticks, and she does her corners with those, so that's a good idea too. I can never keep up with the chopsticks. It's just weird. I keep losing them. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I know which side is open. I'm going to trim 1/4 inch. I just want to turn this one so you can see what it looks like. Doing these like 1/4 on every edge except for the one that I need to turn in, because it's easier to turn in 1/2 inch than it is to turn in 1/4 inch. So make sure you don't cut the whole thing at 1/4 inch. You're going to regret it. 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch right there. It's like I can't, it doesn't want to cut right here because I'm laying on that zipper pull. But it done better this time than it did before. And now I just got to trim the corners. Right here. Round the corners. Just want you to see what this one looks like too. Go down and then cut off. This thing has been stitched around about 3 or 4 times, so it's very secure. By the time it's done, it has stitched that many times, so this wallet should not come apart at the seams. Your fabric is going to wear out. That's what I find that happens to my family members. When they pull out them wallets, sometimes it's so embarrassing. I'm like, OMG, what have you done to this wallet? But my daughter, my niece, and my mom religiously use them. And I guess if you wanted, you could put that, what is that, RFD, the fabric in here too. I do have some of that. I haven't been using it, but I do have some. I don't know why I went to that corner first. I went to the closest corner instead of the farthest. Makes it a little bit more complicated, but we backed up and went to the other corner. I just want you to see this before we get off. It's almost time for us to go. I gotta fix me something to eat. And I want to show you where that purple has almost disappeared. That's why I didn't want that on my front. So okay, so let's go in here, poke the corners out as much as I can. Just trying to show it to you real quick. All right. Oh, we got the paper in here we got to get. Got to clip the threads jumping across my zipper. Okay. My trash can is just full to the brim now over here. I'm surprised it's still sitting on the desk. It's one of those pick cushion trash can things. Okay. So let's poke this in there. Close it up. So this was the end that had that purple. It's just a little sliver down here on the seam allowance that's rounding the edge. And that's because of the batting making it puffy there. But there is no purple showing right here at all now. And this is the side that I decided to put the label on instead. And then this is what the insides look like. So whatever type of fabric you use kind of determines the look and feel. Like if you were doing sports teams, stuff like that, then you could use that. When I did them before, I kind of did colorways. Like I did all blues or all greens. Yeah, but last thing I got to do is I'll put some stitch witchery in here, and I still will hand stitch it closed and then put a cam snaps on here. So almost ready, but I'm gonna get off of here. I'll read the chat for a few messages, see what's going on, and then I will get off of here. And remember, on Wednesday I will not be here at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm almost wondering if I should go live earlier on Wednesday, but my lecture is just about packed. All I got to do is put like things I sell. You know, I didn't leave that type of stuff packed because I needed to use some of that stuff I sell. Things I use on the demo table, like different types of rulers and things like that. So that's the kind of stuff that I have to go do. So we'll rate on those. Let's see. Let me make sure I haven't. Sharon says she uses chopsticks as well. Cute purse wallet. Thank you, Sharon. Kim says everyone have a lovely Sunday. Good night, all. Cute wallet from Shelly. T, keep my chopsticks in my pencil cup along with my quilter pencils. Yeah, but they so thin, like they're so tall and thin. They flip out of here. They just be gone, because I've had chopsticks. Now, they could be back there. I don't know. But I have chopsticks, and they always disappear on me. Thank you, Maddie. Says really nice. And Willa Mae says looks sturdy, too. Yeah, I did add, because I know how my family and I use these, I will say that I add interfacing. So mine's are a little bit thicker again than what the pattern is calling for, because I interface my pockets, because I feel like if you don't, those are what's going to get the most wear and tear is your pockets. And so I interface that so that they are sturdy. So I interface 4 pieces before I sew, and they don't tell you to do that, but I do it because I know I've made the Atkinson. That's one of the things that I made different with the Atkinson wallet when I was making it, and this is very similar to that, except that it doesn't have a zipper pocket up here, and I really love the zipper pocket. But yeah, so Willa Mae says, do more projects, T, and let us stitch along with you. That's what our scrap club is. When I come in here on Saturdays, I don't sometimes know, like today, I didn't know until today when I started cutting what I was going to actually work on. It's so much going on that I have no idea what I'm going to actually work on. Sharon says, T, you skipped my request for cake at retreat. Did you post that? I don't know. Y'all gonna be fighting because it's 41 quilters at retreat. I don't know how 41 people finna eat a cake. Y'all really are gonna get a 1x2, like a wedding slice of cake. Y'all gonna be fighting. Um, I have enjoyed the show as usual. That's from Melissa. She says, got to get you a tall cup. Girl, I have no room to put anything. I got this pincushion thing here I made, and I made it supersized. And I have no room. I got all my stuff in here. So I have no room to put anything else. And then I have, like, what I'm working on, I'll be putting on these boards up here. So I got 4 boards up here. 4 boards. Yeah. And I got one down here. 5. So I'll be working on different boards depending on what I'm doing. Because I got different projects on different boards and stuff. So, but yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and end here, guys. I will see you all. I don't know. If I have time Wednesday, I'll try to come on like noon and just be on here for like an hour or something. I don't know what I'm going to talk about or do, but I'll try to come on. But I know I will not be here Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be giving a lecture at a quilt guild, and I'll probably have to leave here about 5:30 because I try to get there an hour before. So I'm waiting on them, and they're not waiting on me. My stuff is mostly already organized to the point where all I got to do is just put the stuff on the table, like the things that I'm going to be talking about for demo purposes. That's all I got to do. And it's all in one container too. So I'm mostly ready to go. I just got to pull the rulers and stuff that I put up. All right. So that's going to be it then. I will see you all next time. I will be back here next Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for live sewing chat. I will also be in Paducah on Friday. I normally go to the what do you call it? The outside food court. I go over there. I tend to wait until like 1:30, 2 o'clock when I go over there, because I try to let the people that have to eat between 11 and 1 get them out of the way, so I'm not standing in a long line. Hopefully I can find a place to sit, so I try to go after everybody else is already eaten. So I try to shoot for 2 o'clock, weather permitting. If I can get under the pavilion where if it's raining, I'll try to get under the pavilion. If you see me out there, just stop me and chat with me. Sit down, eat with me if you can. And I will see you all then. So you all stay blessed. Be safe, everyone. Quilt out. And have a very happy Resurrection Day tomorrow. Bye.